It's a bull. I guess it's talking about the future here. So, hey, good morning. What's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. It is like 66 this morning. Wow, what an awesome day it is. Look at that water, too. Almost a big enough, tiny little bump there to take a longboard out and do a little surfing, but not quite. Almost there. We usually see them on our cold fronts, but what a beautiful day. If you're not familiar with this is the live cam here in Lauderdale by the Sea, and there is the bridge, not the the bridge to Europe. Yeah, we have one in Lauderdale by the Sea. There's the pier right there, the Lauderdale by the Sea pier, and if you take that pier and you just keep walking west, and you go about 3 or 4 blocks, I am on the right-hand side, actually talking to you right now while this live camera is happening. Well, let's take a look at prices here. I wanted to wait a little bit before I started into the numbers for a couple reasons. Is Monkey Hammer Tuesday, man. It's just a, wow. I don't think the Fridays and the Sunday nights were good enough for. They really did a number on it today, but not a big deal. Again, this really provides a wonderful opportunity to buy the frickin' dip. I know it's a bit frustrating for some of you folks out there that are fairly new to this business and haven't been in precious metals as long as I have. But this is typical. This is not uncommon to see these big down. A lot of it is to flush out money. Manage money out of their long positions, and a lot of it is to try to flush out other people that aren't familiar with gold and silver markets out of their long gold and silver position, out of any positions that they have. Again, this is just pure and simple manipulation, but once you've been through it enough times, once you've been abused enough time by this manipulation, you figure out how to get around it, and what the end result is ultimately going to be is the abuser eventually dies somehow, some way, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. But come on, let's just get into markets real quick and look at how, when, and why kind of deal. I'm going to do a quick refresh here, and let's see if it's kind of back up. Yeah, back up a couple bucks. I was suspecting it was so close to that $1,800 level. I said, well, man, they're so close, man. They have always got extra ammo. Remember, these are large commercial banks with unlimited firing power. They can throw another, $5 billion at it collectively, and it's really not going to hurt the bottom line because it's really not their money, it's their customers' money. And remember, the commercial banks don't do this to be evil. They're not doing it to purposely cause you or I any grief. In fact, we don't even exist. They don't know us. They don't know us from Shinola, to be quite frank with you. So this is simply manipulative, greedy, in my opinion, fraudulent behavior, and in the opinion of a lot of people, fraudulent behavior. It's one of the only few markets that this really happens to on this kind of scale. In your face mostly as well. But no less, it'll end at some point. And what is the market here? There is no physical capitulation. Folks, for the last 2 weeks, I have one of the largest precious metal dealers in South Florida here on a retail side. I am one of the most trusted for sure, but I am a large seller of retail bullion down here. And all these dips, even last August when we seen that $1,800 dip in gold overnight on a Sunday night, the monkey hammering we saw, there was no capitulation. No customers came in and sold me gold bars, coins, or silver coins and bars. We haven't seen zero, zip, nada capitulation as far as the physical retail markets go. Zip, folks. This is simply paper markets fucking around with what they do. Large commercials out there manipulating the price downward for their temporary gain of whatever they make on it. Remember, JP got fined, what, $980 million? They got caught outright for it. They didn't do anything. Again, too big to fail, too big to what, folks? Jail. All right, so they're too big to jail as well. No less, this behavior still goes on. CFTC allows it, either allows it or is inept and is unable to stop it or something. I'm always questioning what CFT's what they haven't done and all the years that they've known and have this information, but no less, just another U.S. Federal regulator that is either inept or is not doing its job for some reason or another. And that's not uncommon. Look at Bernie Madoff. I mean, Bernie talked about having regulators in his office and saying, oh, I thought the game was over, and then I didn't realize these people are really fools and idiots. I could pull. Bernie said that, all right? Bernie Madoff, all right? So remember, if you expect justice from regulators, it's generally not going to happen until someone climbs in their ass and makes them do it, or something along those lines, all right? But again, let's take a look at precious metal prices. I'll get into that in a moment. I got some ideas for you guys. If you're really pissed about this and you want to make a difference, make some phone calls, make some fill out some complaint forms. I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit here. Again, overnight high of 1812 after yesterday's smackdown, and a low of 1785, which we've probably seen this morning. Currently sitting near that low of 1787. Kind of curious what it does through the rest of the day here. Is it going to do what it did the other day and just kind of drift downward a little bit? Again, folks, this is paper markets. This is the bullshit paper markets. All right, this is not physical capitulation. A lot of new folks out there can imagine, oh, all those guys I know that bought 100-ounce silver bars are rushing down to sell them. No, not a single one of them is selling. In fact, you'd be a fool to sell physical into this market right here. An absolute fool. This is a buyer's market. Remember what I said, buy the frickin' dips. We are on a roller coaster ride to the moon. This just provides us an opportunity to do it. But you know, it does piss you off. It makes you sad. And I'll tell you why it makes you sad. Because you start to realize that the world is, you know, they claim that they have regulators. They claim that they don't allow this kind of stuff to happen. Yet they do. It's clear. It's right in your face. I mean, I guess it's not too much different than what we see normally with government and their regulators as well. Like I said, with the Bernie story, Bernie said that they were in his office. He thought the game was over, and then he took the guy out for lunch and a couple drinks, and the guy forgot about it. So go figure. All right. Let's take a look at silver. Silver did get its big monkey hammer. We were surprised all week that, and last week, that gold was taking the hits and silver was kind of maintaining in that 24 and 20, you know, $24 to $25 range, was pretty good. But it looks like overnight it did get smacked down again. Now remember, folks, silver is the much smaller marketplace than gold, and way more manipulated by these large commercial banks out there as far as their short positions go. So this is why you're going to see bigger moves in silver like that as well. However, I think that these moves downward that we've seen here is a big struggle going on. I believe physical will ultimately win out because the physical above ground supplies of real silver, not the bullshit paper they peddle on the COMEX markets and London markets, but real silver is scarce. There's a scarcity out there, folks. And when I say scarcity, I don't mean like we're down to the last 3 ounces on Earth. I'm just talking about available silver for industrial uses, available silver for investment uses. Look, the U.S. Mint is not producing silver eagles for some bullshit weird reason. Supposedly it's because, I don't even know what they're gearing up for a new season, but they really did not produce a lot of silver out there for some reason. Is it that they couldn't get it? Was it because they were told not to, because they would put a crimping on industrial uses and maybe cause the price of silver go up? I don't know. That's a conspiracy as well. But you know, a lot of conspiracies turn out to be true nowadays, especially nowadays that we live in a bizarro world. Let's take a look at a low 23.38, a high of 24.34. Man, that's almost like a buck range. But again, if you're new to this buying gold and silver, you haven't been doing this for decades like I have, relax, ride it out, go out and enjoy a beautiful day. If you have a beautiful day out there, do what you do. Don't get panicky and sell anything, because there are virtually in the last 2 weeks we have been quieter as a retail seller than we've been for a little while. People have been buying the dips, but they've been kind of waiting to see what the levels, that they'd stay at this higher level. And we all knew that it was going to get smacked down to 25. You know, there's more smackdowns to happen before we reach 27 and 30. Ultimately, though, like I said, gold and silver and platinum are on a roller coaster to the moon. You know, you're going to get your dips on that roller coaster to the moon, but ultimately, you're going to the moon. Let's take a look at, and how do I know that? I just freaking know it. I've been doing this a long time, man. You start to see these patterns. You start to recognize these players and how they operate and how they do it. And then all you can do is kind of sit back and ride through it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we do. That's what I do. But the beauty of being a physical buyer, as opposed to buying their bullshit paper, is that you can take some more silver and gold off the market at these lower levels, which is a wonderful thing. Ultimately, because that's what you want to own. You don't want to own paper. Paper is worthless. You want to own the real stuff. You want to own the stuff that was made by colliding neutron stars. Let's take a look at platinum. Ooh, sub $1,000. God, that's a steal, man. I'm telling you, sub $1,000 platinum is a steal. That's a really great deal. Look at a low at 968.51, right across the board, everything. Even palladium took a hit there. So, you know, my first thought this morning was, well, you know, perhaps Perhaps it has something to do with economic numbers, but I don't think so. I kind of think, again, it's monkey hammering by large commercial short positions that are in trouble because they know ultimately this stuff keeps moving up, and they have to bang it down to get out of that position. Well, let's take a look at gold markets overnight, 24-hour spot gold price here, and let's see when and where. This was Sunday night, and as you know, Sunday night, nothing happened. In the past, you'd see most of your monkey hammering happening on Sunday night in Globex markets, overnight markets, thinly traded markets where nobody in their right mind would sell a large chunk of gold or silver, but that's where it was happening. That's where that big $80, $100 smackdown happened last August. Again, manipulation, folks, clear and simple, and the regulators there aren't here to protect us. So we're here to protect ourselves, and how do you do that? You do it by knowledge and knowing who the players are and how they screw you, or how they try, all right? They only screw you if they fool you into selling your physical at these levels. In fact, keep stacking. Let's take a look at yesterday's gold prices, and as we see, overnight markets were kind of pretty much stable. Then New York, bang, where it happened? COMEX, of course. That's where the real manipulation happens in COMEX market, and they allow it to happen. That's the big short positions. Again, that's the big commercial banks that do that. And look at that yesterday, whim, overnight, kind of stabilized for the rest of the day. Interestingly enough, it looks like that the monkey hammering continued. It did start to go into some overnight markets. I don't think they've been successful over the last 2-3 weeks of banging it, just doing it in New York in the morning. I think they had to go back to doing it in the overnight markets as well, because take a look at this. If this is in New York, if the price of gold, if there's a large amounts of gold, or gold being sold off in these extremely thinly traded markets in the evening, like New York Globex, I'm not quite sure the selling is going to be in Hong Kong, perhaps. And then London is a crooked market. They're like New York on steroids at one time, but that whole London group is falling apart really fast. Everyone knows how crooked they are. In fact, some of their players have been actually threatened to be thrown in jail. But let's kind of look at gold prices here and not move into that. And again, overnight markets through London, and this doesn't surprise me right here that you'd see some monkey hammering in London. And then New York, interestingly enough, gold kind of went up a little bit from its low in New York, and again, there's that little tug-of-war battle that we see going on. But as I said last week when we saw $25 silver and we were seeing gold up in that 1870 range, all of us that are seasoned veterans were expecting that smack in the back of the head, that smackdown again. And like I said, you get a little pissed about it when you've been doing it for such a long, because you get pissed not because you don't think the price of gold and silver is going up, because you know exactly what they're doing. Again, they're just short-term trying to shake players out of the market so they can put a cool couple billion in their pocket, and that's what they do. Just pure manipulative trades. That's it, all right? And again, CFTC does nothing about it, and COMEX is complicit with it, in my opinion, because they make money off it. They make, these huge trades, they make a percentage off those huge trades. So, they're parasitic off this whole system. And remember, in my opinion, there's three types of entities in this world, whether it's people or corporations. You've got your producers. Producers are people that produce products, they produce services, they produce good things that people want, all right? They produce marketplaces, they produce bourses and forums. And then you've got your parasites. And parasites, you know what a parasite is. Parasites live off of these producers. They suck the blood off the producers without killing them, just enough. Those are typically, those government people, mostly in taxes. That's what parasitic it really is. And then you've got your predators. These are people that purposely go out and look for people, and they will fleece them for everything they have. That's what you've got with commercial banks. Commercial banks are no longer, these big commercial banks, in my opinion, are no longer parasites. They've become predators, okay? So they're predatory at this point, and they're predatory off these the long positions that are usually, as Ted Butler puts, the money managed crowd, the people that work on technicals only, and will sell when they see gold going way down, or just automatically. In fact, I'm not even sure there's humans trading for these money managers. They're probably AI now, but no less. I digress. Overnight markets, if this was done in overnight London, and again, pure monkey hammering, folks. Don't worry about it. Buy the frickin' dips if you can. If not, don't sell, because none of your fellow brothers and sisters in the precious metal stackers out there are selling at all. None of them that have a bit of sense are selling. In fact, smart gold and silver people are out there buying, in my opinion. Let's take a look at the 24-hour spot price here. There's Sunday night. Again, last Sunday, it was very steady. This is typically in the past where we see a lot of monkey hammering going on. Sunday night, thinly traded markets, probably New York Globex, where nobody would trade gold in large lots unless their intent was to drive markets down, which we've seen happen many times. There's New York close right there yesterday. Silver, I even made the comment yesterday, I probably jinxed it, but I was saying yesterday, man, gold's really taking it on the head a little bit, and silver is kind of been staying steady at this $24 plus mark. And then lo and behold, what happens at the end of the day? Well, here you go. It started in the overnight markets again, folks. I think silver is going to typically follow gold, but I believe gold markets may have been monkey hammered just to take the silver markets down as well. Again, conspiracy. That's my conspiracy, all right? Because where gold goes, silver will ultimately follow. So it looks like that's what's happened this morning. But look when this sub 24, we're in 24.30 yesterday. Well, there's yesterday at the New York close, and then we've got the evening markets. But take a look at this. And I'm wondering who sells in these markets. Was it London selling large amounts of? No, I think this is just overnight monkey hammering again. Then we get to New York here, as you see. You got a low, and New York's back up again. So some crazy shit going on out here. And it got, like I said, this provides a wonderful, this movement provides time to do business. Again, not sellers, but if you're buying gold and silver and you're buying platinum, you're typically a long-term buyer. You are a hodler, is what they call them. Gold and silver people are the original hodlers. I mean, really, they are the old-school gangster hodlers. They've been doing it for decades and decades now. Most people that I know buy gold and silver, they just put it away. They just keep stacking it. People that had bought at the high of 2012 on some gold, they saw, there are people that buy in the high. They're still holding their gold, and they're about a break-even point from 2012's high almost. And silver, not quite so much. But no less, they're still holding. Folks, I've been doing this, like I said, since 1977. I've sold, I can't even, I don't want to say billions, $1 billion or whatever. I really couldn't even do the math, but millions and millions and millions and millions, and lots of money, lots of huge deals I've done over the years. And I can tell you, as I said, as a retail precious metal dealer for that long, that there has been no capitulation. Basically zero, not none. I can't say no, that's not correct. Very little capitulation of precious metal hodlers for decades. These people are still holding this stuff out here. Well, let's see what happens in today's market. Let's go back and take a look real quick. And I'm going to go into some ideas that I have. I think it's about time that we start, I want to say fighting back, because who wants to fight? But I think we need to start civilly bringing these points up to some of these people out here. And I'll get to that in a moment. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a phone number and a form that you can possibly fill out as well. Again, the important thing to do it is civilly and do it smart. Don't sound like some idiot doing it. I'm going to read this real quick because this kind of explains it. Some of you know all about this stuff, some of you don't. But anyway, Ted Butler, Butler Research. This is an old article from 2017, but it kind of explains what's going on. An unusual confluence of seemingly unrelated factors may have created an opportunity to do something about silver and gold manipulation. Again, Ted is here. Let me move along here. Ted is talking about, doing something and getting the CFTC involved. This is in 2017. I don't know what kind of traction Ted has had. Obviously, things are still going the same way today as they were in 2017. I don't think much has gotten done, but Ted looked like he had some hope that Ted Butler is one of the few guys out there. He's like a one-man army that's been fighting this manipulation for years, and he doesn't have a lot of people back behind him, especially any kind of real numbers. That's why I'm encouraging other viewers and listeners out there to follow me with this and then go over to the CFTC and COMEX and file complaints and give them a call. All right. At the same time, and I discussed Saturday's review, the most recent commitment of traders report for COMEX silver futures featured the largest ever concentrated short position by the 4 largest traders and a new record large total commercial net short position. As I've been intoning for years, nothing suggests a possible market manipulation being in place in a large concentrated position. This is not my opinion alone. I basically learned this from the CFTC. The only reason the agency calculates and publishes concentration data in every regulated feature market weekly is because an extremely large concentrated position is the first tip-off of potential market manipulation. A concentrated position is a large market position held by a number of traders that could grow large enough to overly influence price. All right, folks, now pay attention. You can read this again yourself. Think Hunt Brothers in silver of Mr. 5% or Mr. 5% and the Sumitomo copper manipulation, where a few buyers cause prices to be much higher than warranted by actual supply and demand fundamentals. While it is easy for most to understand how a concentrated long position could result in a price considered to be artificially high, it's harder for many to understand the concept of concentration on the short side due to the nature of the short selling being difficult to grasp. All right. And again, folks, you can go back and reread this. I recommend you do this because if you're going to make a call, file complaints, talk to your friends, and explain why or that manipulate. You can't just say, "Oh, the market's manipulated. The market's manipulated." People are going to say, "Well, what's your proof? What is the whole thing behind it?" And you're going to have to be able to explain that. This is why I'm going over this with you. Okay. So let's move along here. Commodity law does not distinguish between upward or downward price manipulation, and the CFTC calculates and publishes concentration data on both the long side and the short side of all regulated future markets. The problem is that while the CFTC publishes the data that indicates COMEX silver has the highest level of concentration ever seen on the short side of COMEX silver futures. Now remember, this is 2017, folks. I don't know what the deal is right now in comparison, but probably let's just assume this could be now, thus providing the strongest possible evidence of a downward price manipulation. And the agency refuses to do anything. COMEX, CFTC refuses to do anything about it or even acknowledge it in any way. Okay, why? Why do they do this? Well, if you think about this simply, first, when it comes to the regulating agency, CFTC, they're either involved with it or they're ignorant or they're overpowered by money or something like that because they haven't done anything. When you talk about COMEX and the CME Group, why they do it, well, it's simple, folks. It's greed. They make a fortune off these large short positions. They don't care if it's a short or a long position as long as they're making a fortune off it. All right, let me move along here. But thanks to the unexpected confluence of events as described above, there may be an opportunity for you to pressure the regulators to address the concentrated short position in COMEX futures. Again, this is 2017, and I'm asking you basically here to do the same thing today, folks. This is why I'm going to show you a couple of links here. You can make a phone call if you're pissed enough. Don't do it when you're pissed. Relax a little bit, go outside, take a walk, and come back and never do something when you're angry. Okay, let me move here, and let me not beat around the bush. Silver would be substantially higher in price were there to be no extreme, now quote, extreme concentrated short position. That's a personal guaranteed based upon simple market mechanics. So, for anyone with an interest in higher silver prices who is a believer that free markets, not controlled by large traders gaming the system, is the right way, then there is something you might consider doing. Now is an ideal time to raise these very important issues about concentration and manipulation in COMEX silver. The two officials most responsible for uncovering manipulation at CFTC just started. Okay, now again, this is 2017, so I'm going to skip along here, but again, what he says, let's do this now, folks. Now's a great time to start contacting the CFTC, filing these complaints, calling COMEX, filing these complaints against these short positions. But you need to make sure you do it civilly. You need to make sure you sound like you're educated, and you can't be yelling and screaming at them, okay? And let's see here, Monday and should be more open to facts than otherwise. I can understand how many might feel that contacting these officials and others might be a waste of time, given the agency's failed record over the years in this regard. Still, I'm not talking about any burdensome effect, just sending a few emails or letters to some very good questions. And folks, like I said, Ted Butler's been doing this for years and years. He was the lone voice out there. Probably even in 2017, he's one of a dozen people that even bothered to call the CFTC. And he was out there asking people to do it. But now the internet's bigger. There's a lot more YouTubers out there like myself and other YouTubers that are listening, and people that run forums like Wall Street Silver, the moderators, who I hope can eventually wrap their heads around this and start taking the Wall Street forum that they have, the Silver Apes, the 164,000 Silver Apes. That power is huge. So someone that one of the moderators or people that run the Wall Street Silver Forum really need to put a call and a complaint form together for this, all right? If they can wrap their heads around this. And I believe they can. They wrap their heads around a lot of smart stuff. So it's just kind of confusing to me why they haven't reacted sooner, but maybe they just haven't discovered the power that they have yet. But I digress here again. Ted says, I've already written to a few officials myself. I would ask you not to improvise and include other issues such as gold manipulation. Besides, nothing would impact gold prices more than having silver manipulation terminated. The best approach is being specific and as factual as possible as to pin the agency down. They may refuse to answer one way or another, ensuring maximum pressure. The best thing to do, again, what Ted Butler here is saying is that, well, hang on, Ted actually offers some explanation on here on comics on how it's done. Wow, pretty cool. He actually gives you a little something to read here, but again, this is 2017. However, it's proof of the manipulation that Ted was offering them in 2017. Here's what I'm going to recommend, folks. If I read this to you, we're going to be here a long time, but go to this article right here. Sorry, don't mean to make you dizzy. What did I type in right here? This is Silver Seek. Well, here, type in another opportunity, Ted Butler research, and this page should pop up here. You guys are pretty good at doing Google searches, or I like DuckDuckGo. But search this, called Another Opportunity, in April 13, 2017 by Ted Butler. And at the bottom of Ted Butler's page, it's Ted Butler's complaint to the CFTC. You can basically kind of use this for yourself. Read this a little bit, and it'll give you kind of a more idea. I think he's a little more in-depth than what we just read above here, and explains it, the contracts, how this can happen, and that kind of thing. So let me move out of there real quick. Just curious, I want to look at Market Watch. When I saw the down market this morning, my first thought is, did the stock market implode? Because believe me, when this greatest bubble of all time implodes, the paper, gold, and silver markets will as well. Just get used to hearing that, because it's true. But it won't last long, and physical supplies will completely dry up and not be available. Premiums will be absolutely ridiculous. Remember, paper markets with gold and silver paper markets are are wagging the dog. They've been doing that for quite some time, but at some point, the dog, which is the physical markets, is going to take control again. And when the markets collapsed in 2008, that's exactly what happened. You couldn't buy gold or silver at the bullshit paper price they had at the time. You had to pay huge premiums. Not only did you have to pay huge premiums, you had to wait weeks and weeks and weeks to get it. So it just shows you what bullshit this paper market is. The godfather of silver manipulation, I would say, is Ted Butler. He's been explaining it for years. He understands that silver market better than anyone, and how it's manipulated. And as far as gold manipulation goes, GATA.org, I would say be the godfather of gold manipulation, or pointing out gold manipulation. So take a look at their pages right here, the basics, confiscation, if you're new to this website. Take a look at it and read that first. It explains how the gold market is manipulated as well. Physical demand will defeat paper, gold, and silver, GATA chairman says. Again, something that we know and we discuss all the time. This is temporary. It just kind of gets you a little pissy, because you wonder who's guarding the hen house. Well, obviously the foxes are. All right, here we go. I'm going to get into something here. Now, you may have to pause this right here, but here's what I would do. I filed a complaint myself, and I would suggest that you guys file a complaint. Look real closely here and make sure that you're filling everything out properly. This is a complaint with CME Group, and I think if you just go to, let me see, you can copy this up here if you can see it, or let me see, I think how I found it was, watch, ready? CME Group, let's see if it just pops up, file a complaint. Makes it easier for you so I don't have to copy my URLs. Yeah, there it is. Just go in and search. You're searching and type CMA Group, file a complaint, and click it. There it is right there, folks. Again, be civil. Try to be as correct as you can. Don't put in silly names and addresses and things, and they're not going to come after you for doing this, by the way. But maybe they'll get the point a little bit that people are watching, or more people that think they are, more people than they think. Is there anything I can help you as filling this out? Personal information, fill out on your own. Does your complaint concern an individual? Affirm. I would say affirm is what I hit right there. Date of incidents, I put since 1971. Local time of day. Again, you can fill this stuff out here however you want. Execution platform, trading floor, CME Group, and okay. Anyways, kind of describe your complaint in the field here. I don't know how much room they give you, but probably not a lot. And file your complaint there about big short positions. Ted Butler actually explains it well. You can go back and maybe even do a cut and paste there yourself. So CME Group is probably a good place to, you're actually, these are the, this is the foxes that are guarding the hen house. It's their hen house, actually. So really the foxes own and guard the hen house. But still, I think if CME Group starts seeing enough complaints being filed, again, legit complaints, don't be calling them a butthead or something like that, or calling them idiots and thieves and stuff. That's not going to be helpful. You catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar, folks. And the next one I'm going to tell you to suggest is go out and file a complaint against with the CFTC right here. Here's their website. Don't bother trying to call these people, folks. Their phones are, I guess they get enough phone calls that they try to just get you to file online. But go to CFTC and file a complaint form, and I think you can also, again, CFTC complaint form. Let's see if it pulls up. That way you don't have to copy my URL exactly. Submit a tip. Okay, no, that's not where I went. There it is. Complaint form, commodities, future. Okay, so just type in CFTC complaint form. I didn't even spell it right, it still came up. And here it is right here. And it allows you to file a complaint. Again, read this very carefully, and please indicate the best describes your complaint. Someone firm disrupted this trader's future. Complaint does not fit any. Hang on. Fraudulent represents that some type of cheating or fraud that you had deposited funds. Someone or something to be registered. Disruptive. There it is. The D would be the one you'd hit. Disruptive or manipulated trading futures, options, or swap market. What is your source of belief? Write in that that these large short positions, that we have data and we have facts. We have data, we have facts, and people have been jailed already for doing this. Okay, you can put that in on, or not jailed, fined. People have already been fined for. So we've already got courts that said this is happening. So that's a fact. All right, we've got data that shows it's happening. We've got court cases that shows they do this and they continue to do this. On what days, and if you know what time of day did the alleged conduct occur. There's one thing I may be confusing here, and excuse me 1 second here, is actually that is a call from the CFTC. Hello?
Yeah, do you guys have any police?
We do. Can you call me back in a few moments?
Absolutely.
And I'll give you a number. Thank you. Oh, it was a Chicago number. I thought the CFTC was calling me back. Turns out customer number forwarded over to my other phone. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, it makes it interesting. It said Chicago. I said, oh, okay, they're calling me back already. I probably never get a call back. On what days? And I think most of you are smart enough to fill this form out, but fill it out as accurately as you can. Individual firm. It asks you what firm that you're complaining about, and you're complaining about the CME Group, so you can really go back over to CME Group. If you go up here and you go down to, where is it? It shows you their address down here to About Us, Contact Us. And somewhere around here is their address. I had to search around for it, but you do have to put the address of the CME Group. I think they know who it is anyway. But folks, if you got the time and you don't mind doing it, go to CME, file a complaint. Let's see, where is it? There it is. File a complaint, which is this complaint thing right here, and then go to the CFTC and file a complaint form as well. Again, do it correctly and do it civilly and politely, and let's see if maybe we can help Ted out and get some stuff done here, or at least bring some attention to it. Meanwhile, don't sell, buy the frickin' dips. Silver Chart Book. This is Seeking Alpha, site I like. Silver Chart Book. Silver shrugging off attacks. I think he spoke a bit too soon, like I did yesterday. I said the same thing yesterday. Wow, look at gold, man. Silver's holding its own, and then wham today. Well, I guess we should have expected it. There's some good articles here in Seeking Alpha, by the way, and you know that as well. And one thing, folks, it's interesting too. Think about it. In a world of equities, in a world of all these weird financial instruments that you can buy, and the casinos out there, even Wall Street's a casino now, and all the things that cryptos, everything. What do central banks, what do countries put in their vaults? Look, Poland plans to add another 100 tons to its gold reserves. I mean, central bankers, the people that run the world, not presidents. Presidents don't run the world. Congress people, they don't run the world. Maybe the deep state does, maybe, but to some degree. But central bankers are part of the deep state, all right? They basically run the world. And what do they put in their vaults? They put gold in their vaults, folks. Never forget that. Gold has been around for thousands of years. It's never gone bankrupt. It never will. It's out-survived every country, every empire. It's out-survived every currency out there as money. It's been, again, track record is impeccable, all right? You can't say that about any other investment or firm or currency or government. None of them are impeccable. Gold is impeccable. And again, what do they hang on to? Gold. Let's take a look. There's nothing too much out here in good news, bad news, and really mostly bad news. Let's see, rounding error, oil prices surge as Biden SPR releases backfires. Well, what do you expect from Biden and his group? Let's see here, playing on fire, Russia's border. Not good, not good. Last thing we need is a war with Russia, or we don't need another Cold War. Jesus Christ, didn't we go through one already? We need another with these idiots here. Give me a second here, let's keep going. Again, not too much to talk about, just typical bad news and nothing great here. Fed taper is good news for the bond market. All right, we're going to move out of here and look at WSS and Wall Street Silver. I ran a couple videos out there, and I ran this article, "The rigging at the very core of the gold market is now officially confirmed." It was an article done, who did this article? I kind of forget. It is, done by gata.org. Again, it talks about what we were talking about for weeks now, is that the proof, if CFTC says, well, where's your proof that these markets are manipulated? All right, you can simply point to not criminal charges, but fines that have been levied on them. All right, they're not gone to jail, but they have paid fines, and paying fines generally indicates guilt. All right, I think this is actually a lawsuit, though, not just a regulatory commission, regulatory agency fining the CFTC or fining someone. This is a literal lawsuit by people that lost money. And they won the lawsuit, apparently, right here. And again, these lawsuits and these fines that have been levied upon these groups is proof that it happens, all right? So when they ask you for proof, they already have their own proof. They've already convicted some of these people, again, as far as fines go. Well, let's move over to not much to talk about in Wall Street Silver. However, I would seriously like to see them take this 169,000 silver apes they have out here and put them to good use legislatively, and again, politely, professionally, civilly, and start calling the CFTC as well. Can you imagine just if 10%, 16,000 apes started calling CFTC, filing complaints, started calling legislators, again, doing it civilly, doing it properly. Can you imagine the power behind that? God, even 169 right now would be good. So you got the power, Wall Street Silver. You need to take advantage of it. Let me move into yesterday's video here, and I'm going to do let's see what newer comments. Going to blow this up a little bit, and I would like to thank everybody here for commenting and watching and stuff. And let me just see if I can answer a few questions. Close your eyes because I'm going to make you dizzy. No, I'm at the bottom of the page. Nice to see all you folks here, and let's see if there's any questions I can add. Jas Jones, you did not have a big loss today. You only have a loss if you sell, so relax. And in fact, if you have any extra ammo, buy the dip. Buy the dip. You need to buy the dip. Sorry about that. Let me just do newest first and go back down here. I'm going to start at the top of the page and go down this time. And thanks, Thorlin. I appreciate you watching. And Best Seed Orc, the media does not report manipulation or any other dishonest, incorrect, self-serving misinformation that would displease Wall Street or DC. You nailed it, sir. Corporate media, that is. Corporate media, think about it, corporate media. Who are they run by? If they started to tell the truth about everything, eventually they would have to rat out themselves because they are liars as well. Couldn't agree with you more. Very difficult to find honest information. And how do you know when you found it? This is true, sir. Well, I think the best thing you can do is use your brain, what you were given, and your gut. The same thing that probably got us where we are today before there was even television or internet. Your gut and your brain. Well, let's see. The 3-year price chart is looking great. Thanks for commenting, Tim. I appreciate that. And chart guy, I did see your comment a little bit too late. Sorry I don't have it up here, but interesting. You mentioned flag formation there, and learned something new every day. So thank you. And this is not fair. I agree with you, Ernest, 100%. So like if you want to do something about it, civilly, properly, go and call these people. And again, I gave you information here that you can go back and look at. You can look at Ted Butler's thing here and read that to him. Look it up yourself, though. Don't read that to him. What am I saying? File a complaint, folks. File a complaint with the CME. File a complaint with the CFTC. And get it done. Do it today. No better time than now. So what else? What else? Ernest says all the precious metals deal should push for 2 different spot prices. Well, there is kind of 2 different spot prices out there. When the paper prices get ridiculous, and for whatever reason it may be, whether it's a short position or whether it's a financial collapse, premiums go up substantially. So you could consider that the real price of physical when premiums are just insane, and they have been for a while. Let me keep going here. Oh, I was going to go down. Sorry about that. Why does anyone play the comic future when it's obviously rigged? Well, the people that primarily play that market are the large short commercial banks, okay? Why do they do it? Because they make a lot of money doing it, John. It's not because they hate us or we don't even register in their minds, you know what I mean? Other people don't exist. It's just about them making money. But again, great thing to do, John, is to file a complaint with the CFTC and the CMA Group. See, there's the CFTC. Again, just type in your browser, file a complaint, CFTC, file a complaint, CME, and you will find a link that'll take you there pretty easily. Let's go back to worked on a John McStashy about the monkey hammer. Good for you, Gomer. And let's go down here. Michael, thank you. Reminding me I do need to take a sip of coffee here. Thanks for watching Silver Surface. I really appreciate that. And much love to you as well. Having a degree doesn't make a person smart. 100% agree with that. And again, let me see if I can kind of answer again. I love to thank all you folks for commenting. I'm really stoked every time I see comments and people making nice, or people saying nice things as well. Monkey Keisha, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And suggested reading sounds better than homework. Absolutely. So everything I have up here, folks, is suggested reading, not homework. Silver Love and Lou, Food Hoarder. Again, not too much questions here to answer, but again, like to thank all of you for your comments. And really, I appreciate you watching. Sometimes I think I'm talking to myself here. Which I do most days anyway. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button as well. See, there's the like button right there, and it's helpful to me. Let me know if you're watching. Also good for the YouTube algos and gets my message out there even more. Let's take a look at, that's it. We're done. Hey, this is Brian with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime between 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. So we're happy to answer any questions you have and tell you what the best deal of the day is. We advertise to beat APMEX, AM, and SD Bullion, the 3 largest online sellers out there. I believe they're good, honest companies. But I am very competitive, and I will beat their prices. Not only can I beat their prices, I can give you better advice, face-to-face advice, and other things as well. And you keep that money local here for my South Florida peeps. If you don't live in my area, I can't deal with you folks. Sorry, I only deal face-to-face here in a brick-and-mortar store. But I do encourage you to go out and find your own local store, because keep that money local. I can't tell you how important it is to keep money local and spend money in your local communities. Well, that's it. Hey, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.